My name's Stephen Gritton. We're here in the Conservation Studio at the National Gallery of Canada. Behind me on the easel is Tom Thomson's The Jack Pine, perhaps the most iconic Canadian painting. It's here in the studio because we've just finished a major treatment. We cleaned the painting and we restored the painting, and we did that to address some historic problems that it's had in preparation for it travelling to London as part of a major exhibition on Thomson and the Group of Seven. The painting was painted in Thomson's studio over the winter of 1916 into 1917. Thomson was to die later in that year, and so in that sense it really is Thomson's last great painting. The gallery bought it from the artist's estate in 1918 and clearly at the time recognised the painting's significance. It was included very proudly in a British Empire exhibition and was shown in London at a venue that would later become the Wembley Soccer Stadium in 1924. And as part of that tour, it also went over to Europe and was shown in Ghent and in Paris, and came back to Canada sometime in the late 1920s. All that travel, however, back in those days, was not necessarily a good thing for a picture. So you can imagine, it's in the hold of a ship when it crosses the Atlantic. It's on trains without suspension and indeed trucks without suspension. Travel today is a very different, much safer matter. When it returned to Canada, the painting, really at just 10 years old, very unusually had developed major problems, such that it was given a major conservation treatment at the time. The treatment, however, did not resolve all of the problems, and we've been left with a legacy of lifting paint and flaking and general structural issues for the last 80 years. So here we are in the early stages of the cleaning, and what I'm doing here is using a custom-made swab to test various organic solvents on the painting to find the safest and easiest way of removing all the varnishes from the surface. The problems that we face with this treatment are that there are 3 types of varnish of different ages on the surface, and the most problematic one potentially was the last one on, which is an early and experimental synthetic, which is known to change and is certainly changing on this painting, and can potentially move into an area of solubility or difficulty of removal that would present extra risk. So here you see the swab rolling over the texture and picking up a lot of discoloured and dirty varnish. So here, a little later on in the treatment, and on the other side of the painting, the right hand side, you can see we've opened up the test into a larger area, and really up until this point the painting's clean up until this line. On this side of the line we've still got a lot of dirt and varnish over the surface and trapped in the brush texture, which really chokes it up. This side is clean and looking much calmer. So the entire cleaning procedure probably took somewhere in the region of 100 hours, which is not long and it's not short for this kind of job. It's somewhere in the middle. After that, once we had access to the open cracks on the surface, the consolidation process took place, which is getting the glue in the right locations to do its job properly. And then there was a little bit of restoration. And of course we have revarnished the painting using stable material, a varnish that will always be safely removable, and that's a really important aspect. So I think some of the things that we've achieved in this treatment, why it's cool, I think, what we have done is taken the painting out of any dangerous cleaning cycles which it has potentially been in the past. Now it has a stable, non-yellowing varnish on it, which is entirely appropriate in terms of appearance for a painting like this. I have tools that my predecessors didn't have, and I have some knowledge that my predecessors didn't have, and where they had created problems along the way, or what we've managed to do is to quite elegantly step in and just relieve them of those problems and relieve the painting of the accumulation of the effects of those problems. So actually the painting's in a much better state than it was just a few months ago. What's also ultimately cool is that our knowledge and our better technology has let us wind the clock back to some degree. As I said, the painting is closer now than it's really ever been to how Thomson intended it to look, and that's pretty good.